Ho! There y'all are. Good to see you. Y'all always catch me unaware. Boy, but I got something for you today. Y'all know Kamala Harris fell out of the race. But now they trying to tell us that Pete Buttigieg is the forerunner. Look, we gonna get after the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. You ready?
This is not a test.
If you listen to this program, you're gonna get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. This program is X-rated. You ready?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
You are now tuned into the world's most honest talk show host, the Elder Mmoja, Ajabu.
Can you handle the truth? Welcome. This is Elder Mmoja, Ajabu, your host for After Naked Truth. This program is dedicated to strip the clothes off of well-dressed lies, and there are a bunch of well-dressed lies running around here. So I'm telling you that if you can't stand the truth, you ought to situate yourself elsewhere, because we're going to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. This program is X-rated because the truth ain't gonna have on any clothes. It's gonna be running around here. But I won't say that other one. But naked. Because you're listening to the most truthful talk show host in the business. Unbought, unbossed, and unafraid. I'm very concerned about some developments that took place this past week. Kamala Harris, senator out of California, dropped out of the presidential race. And she dropped out because she said, I just don't have any more money to continue. The question that I ask is why? Kamala come onto the scene. Y'all remember when Kamala come onto the scene, and in the first debate, she took Joe Biden to task. She come on, look, and understanding that nobody in the Democratic Party can win without the vote of people of African descent. So she came in knowing that Joe Biden had a sordid history concerning race, and she took him to task. Listen to what she said.
So, on the issue of race, I couldn't agree more that this is an issue that is still not being talked about truthfully and honestly. There is not a black man I know, be he a relative, a friend, or a coworker, who has not been the subject of some form of profiling or discrimination. Growing up, my sister and I had to deal with the neighbor who told us her parents couldn't play with us because we were black. And I will say also that in this campaign, we've also heard, and I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden.
Joe.
I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
Stop it right there.
And, there was...
Kamala's compassionate. Not only compassionate, she is passionate. You could hear the emotion in her voice. This is something near and dear to her. And she knows that she's taking a risk to talk about race with Vice President Joe Biden. Vice President Joe Biden, Barack Obama's vice president, and she's taking him to task about race and how his decision actually impacted her in her life. And she's telling him, I don't know of a black man here in America that has not been racially profiled. My Lord. And what you saying, Jeff, exactly why doesn't she? She probably pocketed that money. Hey, Deanna, I doubt if she pocketed it. She spent it. But one thing for sure, she ain't getting no more. The question is, why? Jeff, why is she not getting any more money? And I'm going to tell you, I got an answer. Buckle up. This might be a rough ride for some of you. And let me say up front, I'm not necessarily a Kamala Harris supporter, but I am a supporter of right and fairness and treating people like they ought to be treated, like you want to be treated, so that everybody can get along. Kamala,
amen to that.
yeah, Kamala told and actually experienced a bump in the pros after she took Joe Biden to task. She done took Joe, because she know that Joe, and she was very politically correct by saying, now I don't believe you're a racist. I'm not sure. But she said, I don't believe you're a racist. But you done some racist things. You hanging out with racists. You hung out with Eastland and Byrd. Both of them. Byrd, he came to the Senate with his Ku Klux Klan robe on. He wasn't trying to hide it. And Biden is talking about, well, if you look at my history, I could get along with them. You could get along with the Klan? Did they know something we didn't know? Are you trying to hide? But I'm not sure. But she said, I don't believe it. Okay. But you hung out with them. And you made some decisions that were not race sensitive. And because she done that, I mean, that was the highlight of that first debate. She got a bump in the polls. She was leading her and almost in second place. Buttigieg wasn't nowhere to be found. She got money. Money was coming in. She didn't have no problem with money. You know, she was able to run her campaign. What are you saying, Jeff? Because of her remarks for challenging the higher nationality who is running for president is the reason. They are scared of the butt. Boy, now me and you agree with that. We agree on that one, Jeff. But I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to break it down. And Deanna, she didn't really have my support. Yeah, she don't have the support because she was the top cop in California. She was locking people up. In fact, she was so police oriented that when children would stay home from school, would be truant from school, she made a law or helped to produce a law or actually had the policy to go and arrest the parents. Yeah. No. I couldn't support her. But I'm talking about what is the truth of the matter. And Deanna, I know that you will like this because there's a part that Comcast played in this. I'm telling you, I'm unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt-naked truth. I'm telling you, I'm the most truthful talk show host in the business. What's the truth? We find out that Kamala's money was coming from Comcast. This article says Mayor Pete is Hollywood's top pick now that Kamala Harris is out of the presidential race. And when you read in that article, it says no candidate has raised more money from employees of Comcast, parent of Film Studios Universal Pictures and DreamWorks, as well as CNBC, and only Harris has brought in more money than Buttigieg from staffers at Disney. Comcast, who owns all of those, is throwing money at Kamala. Go Kamala. What we found out is right after then, Kamala filed an amicus brief in the case that Byron Allen had filed and sued Comcast. That's just was heard a couple of weeks ago in the United States Supreme Court. Once she filed, and do you have that, producer? She filed that amicus brief in support of Byron Allen, and all of a sudden, she ain't got no money. Comcast ain't coming up with no money. Yeah, Comcast can't come up. Understand that case that Byron Allen filed against Comcast, it's all about race. Comcast said, Byron Allen, we consider race. We considered your race. Yeah, we said, look, because you are a man of African descent, that played into the decision that we made not to support you, not to let you get on our network. But what you got to do, Byron, you got to prove that that's the only reason. If you can't prove that that's the only reason, then you can't say that race was the factor that caused you not to be able to use Comcast as a carrier of your programming. Byron took issue with that. He says that the law has previously been that you didn't have to prove that race was the only reason. All you had to do was prove that race was one of the reasons. And he says we proved that. Comcast has admitted that. And Kamala agreed. She's a lawyer. She's a prosecutor. She agreed, and so she wrote an amicus brief, and amicus means friend of the court. And in this case, she wasn't a friend of the court. She was the friend of Byron Allen. And she wrote a brief saying that Byron is right and Comcast is wrong. And Comcast is treating him in a racist manner. And Comcast said, Kamala, do you realize that we're contributing to your campaign? Oh, you want to stand with your people? You hadn't been standing with your people. You've been locking them up because their kids wouldn't go to school. You said that you was against the death penalty, but you killed men in California who was facing the death penalty. If you gonna stand with your people, then we gonna dry up your money. What you're saying, Jeff, what upsets me is regardless of a situation that combines all races of colors for a debate, racism becomes the baseline of the topic, for sure. But that's because you live in America. If you don't understand race in America, then everything else will confuse you. The sad part about it is they cannot provide data to show a positive output. It's always negative. The funny part, watch their body language and how tense they get. Well, they know that they full of doo-doo. See now.
Amen.
Oh yeah. Amen. I got an amen corner in here, and y'all better understand when he amen, boy, it is an amen. But look at this. See, because Pete Buttigieg, who now is rising in the polls, He wasn't nowhere until Kamala decided to support Biden. Now he's escalating. He's elevating. He's coming up. And see, since he's so young, I call him Petey. And because his last name is so difficult to pronounce, I call him Boo. So that's old Petey Boo. And Petey Boo, you know, is rising because Comcast won't give Kamala the money that they had been giving her. And oh Lord, Petey Boo, look, I don't care who you give your boo-boo to. Petey Boo, just because you give your boo-boo to is not the reason why we don't support you. We don't care who you give your boo-boo to. But because you give your boo-boo to who you want to give your boo-boo, don't mean we going to accept your doo-doo. Goodbye. See, sometimes you just got to talk to him. You got to let him know. Because he's trying to say that I can't get no black support because of his homosexuality. That's not true. Don't nobody care who you give your boo-boo to, Petey Boo. Don't nobody care. That's your business. And if you don't tell me, I ain't gonna know. The problem that we have with you is your racist policies in South Bend. You fired Daryl Boykins, the only black police chief that South Bend has known. You fired him because he inadvertently had some recordings going on at the police station, and the recordings caught white police officers making racist statements toward him and talking about how they done set up people of African descent in South Bend to arrest them when they hadn't committed any crime. That's the reason why we have a problem with you, Petey Boo.
It sure is.
Not because of your who you give your boo-boo to. And again, Petey Boo, you got recordings of the murder of Eric Jack Logan, who was a man of African descent who was killed by Sergeant Ryan O'Neal. Petey, I'm not talking to you, man. I'm talking about you. Petey, stand down. Petey just crazy. He don't understand. He wants somebody to be concerned about who he give his boo-boo to. No. We don't care. That ain't none of my business. I ain't dealing with that. I'm concerned about your complicity in the cover-up of the murder of Eric Jack Logan. The police officer said his body cam wasn't on Ryan O'Neal. But he had a dash cam. It was off too. 2 other officers showed up, one of them being Nepper. He had a body cam on. He supposedly picked Eric up off the ground and put him in the car. Ain't no blood on the ground, but there's plenty of blood in the car. And his camera wasn't working. His dash camera wasn't working. There was another police officer that set up on the set. His body cam wasn't working. His dash cam wasn't working. No, Petey Boo. That's doo-doo, Doc. And we ain't accepting that doo-doo. And that ain't because who you give your boo-boo to. It's because of your policy. What are you saying? Deanna, why do you think she did that knowing Comcast was buffering her bread? That's a good question. Because see, and I'm going to get to that. And we really need to understand how this society has done a scientific study to see what it takes, what kind of money, what kind of economic wherewithal it takes that they give us in order to make us not fight for our freedom. And P.D. Boo is an expert. See, there's pressure right now for him to reveal his employment with McKinsey, which is a consultant firm that tells businesses how to conduct a business and so that they get the largest profit that they can get. And they operate internationally. They operate in China, Afghanistan, Iran, and in fact, P.D. Boo went to Afghanistan and Iran as a consultant or a worker for this McKinsey, and he can't tell nobody what he was supposed to do. But if you look at the McKinsey's website, one of the things that they say that they do is they are experts at giving men, basically in Muslim countries, in those third world countries, because it's the male that's normally at the top of the pecking order, they give them economic resources so that they won't join the insurgency. They won't fight for their liberation. We'll give you money if you don't fight for the rights of your people. I think that they was trying to neutralize Kamala the same way, Deanna. And traditionally, they were able to do it because you could look at her history as prosecutor there in L.A. She was locking brothers up like 90 going north. Yeah, it's unacceptable. It really is. Yeah, I see you. Right back at you. I see you. See, they thought that they had her. But then, when she's running on the national stage, and on the national stage, everybody is making the point that boy, you can't win if you don't have them people of African descent on you. And her numbers are down, and so she says, I got to let my people know that I'm with them. Now, she probably lying. But that was just political strategy. And Comcast said, look, if you don't do that, we got money for you, honey. We'll help you with the polls. And then, see, this is another thing. Comcast, CNBC, them are the people that's doing the polls. And we know from the last election, all the polls were saying that Donald Trump was going to lose. Hillary could not be beat. And when they counted the votes, Hillary had to go home. Not a person in Iowa or New Hampshire has cast a vote, but because CNBC and them other folks are able to mold the thinking, do the psychological warfare, they were able to make the polls be skewed against Kamala and toward P.D. Boo. And P.D. Boo, he done rose. See, there's a question in the election this time. They've already accepted a man of African descent. Now they're trying to determine whether they'll accept a woman or of African descent or a white man playing like he's a woman. P.D. Boo. Are they going to get a woman? Or are they going to get a woman make-believe? And that's what they're trying to determine right now. And look like they said, okay, and not only a woman, a black woman. Look, Kamala, see, we thought you was going to play ball. We thought you was with us. We thought that you was going to stand against your people. Now you done messed around and filed an amicus brief in support of buying out. You got to go, girl. Yeah, she lying. You know she lying, but that's politics. A politician, you know the definition of a politician? A good liar. If a politician ain't a good liar, he can't do politics. And then that's what you see with Petey Boo. Petey Boo lying, talking about that he's all for black people. He ain't for black people. You can look at his record in South Bend. If he was for black people, then he would release the tapes that Chief Boykins inadvertently recorded of those racist police cops making those comments. He would release those tapes to where it's that those police officers, white police officers in South Bend, was talking about how they done set people of African descent up to be criminals when they hadn't committed a crime. If he was really trying to do the right thing, if he was really trying to do the right thing, them 6 cameras that took footage of Sergeant Ryan O'Neal murdering Eric Jack Logan, he would release them. But now he's talking about, I can't release them. The feds is doing an investigation. Well, you got the letter like I got the letter. The feds said that they done their investigation. It's over with. They didn't find no crime. Petey Boo, quit trying to sell that doo-doo. Ain't nobody buying that doo-doo. And we don't care who you give your boo-boo to. No, that's not the issue. The issue is your racist policy. You are complicit in the demise of the black man that was the only black man that was the police chief in South Bend. And Petey, I'm talking about you. I ain't talking with you. Quit calling me. See, Petey want to talk. And I talk to him. But not now. Petey, you better get straight. And I'm not disrespecting Petey. I done told y'all. I'm 70 years old. He's a young dude. And so I'm just giving him a name of Petey. And it's hard for me to pronounce. His last name is Boot something. So I just shortened it to Boo. So that's Petey Boo. And I'm a bit upset with Petey Boo. But Petey got to get his doo-doo straight. We ain't buying it. And I'm telling you, so Comcast controlling the polls, controlling the money, has caused the demise of Kamala and the rise of Petey Boo. See, the lesson from all of this is for us growing up, maturing. We got to quit looking for others to do for us what we ought to be doing for ourselves. Boy, my amen corner, I love it. You know, because we understand that he who has the gold makes the rule. They call it the golden rule. And we got to start contributing our own gold. What you saying, Deanna? Not for long. He won't have the numbers from blacks either. We carry the dim. Exactly. But see what you, God, and then you brought me to the point. What you see his rise is in Iowa and New Hampshire. Iowa, 90% white. New Hampshire, 99.9% white. So them white folks are saying, we like Petey Boo. They might be getting some boo-boo. But we don't care who Petey Boo give his boo-boo to. We're not buying Petey Boo's doo-doo. But them white folks in New Hampshire and Iowa are. But see, when it comes to South Carolina, which is after that, he's got 0% support from people of African descent. So yeah, Deanna, you are correct. But see, this is the point that we got to look at. This dude is complicit in our murder. He's complicit in our economic rise by firing Daryl Boykins. He's complicit in our murder, but not releasing the tapes in Eric Jack Logan. But yet and still he can find favor in Iowa and New Hampshire. That means black lives don't matter. We've got to make black lives matter to us, which means that we've got to mature and grow up and stop looking for other people to do for us what we should be doing for ourselves. We can run our own candidates. In fact, that's what we're trying to do here in Indiana. Have our own independent party, and we're making moves. In fact, we even sued the Indiana State Department Voters Education or Voters Department because they won't give us the petitions to get on the ballot. You've been listening to Elder Mmoja Ajabu, your host for After Naked Truth, the most truthful talk show host in the business, unbought, unbossed, unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. You know I ain't got but one question for you. You ready?
This is not a test.
If you listen to this program, you're gonna get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. This program is X-rated. You ready?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
You are now tuned into the world's most honest talk show host, the Elder Mmoja Ajabu.